The Spratly Islands comprises over 200 features of islands, reefs, shoals and sandbars. 6 parties, China, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Chinese Taiwan, have made claims to all or part of the islands, with Vietnam occupying 29 features in total. Since the 1970s, Vietnam has continuously carried out reclamation activities on relevant features. According to the remote sensing images, Vietnam has initiated a new round of large-scale reclamation on its occupied Spratly features since October 2021. These activities involve 14 features: Namyit Island, Sin Cowe, Tennent Reef, Pearson Reef, Barque Canada Reef, Alison Reef, Cornwallis South Reef, Reef, Discovery Great Reef, Central Reef, South Reef, West Reef, Amboyna Cay, and Grierson Reef. Other Vietnam-occupied features such as Sin Cowe Island, Spratly Island, and Lansdowne Reef have also underwent varying degrees of expansion. As of May 2025, Vietnam had reclaimed over 10 square kilometers of land across these features. Among them, the total reclaimed land area of Namyit Island is about 0.83 square kilometers, Sin Cowe is about 0.43 square kilometers, Pearson Reef is about 1.27 square kilometers, Tennent Reef is about 0.69 square kilometers, Barque Canada Reef is about 2.8 square kilometers, Discovery Great Reef is about 0.95 square kilometers. Cornwallis South Reef is about 0.09 square kilometers, Reef is about 0.6 square kilometers, Alison Reef is about 0.1 square kilometers, Central Reef is about 0.3 square kilometers, South Reef is about 0.68 square kilometers. In this round of expansion, Vietnam has deployed cutter suction dredgers for the first time. In May 2022, Dutch shipbuilding company Royal IHC delivered a Beaver 65 cutter suction dredger to the Vietnamese company Sin Cowe, then delivered the second Beaver 65 to Sin Cowe and signed a contract for the third one in June 2023. In November 2022, Royal IHC delivered 2 more dredgers to the Sien Tien Group. These dredgers have been extensively used in the reclamation of Namyit Island, Pearson Reef and Barque Canada Reef, significantly enhancing Vietnam's efficiency. In July 2023, the Manila Times reported that the Vietnamese government had planned 34 projects to strengthen the infrastructure and armaments on its occupied features. These projects include varying degrees of reclamation at Pearson Reef, Tennent Reef and Barque Canada Reef, along with the construction of bunkers, command posts, firepower positions, weapon storage facilities, trench systems and tactical facilities. Additionally, Vietnam plans to build a 180-meter-long port at Sin Cowe to accommodate its Jeopard 3.9 class frigates, along with defensive structures, combat bunkers, and barracks. 2 additional ports are also planned for Namyit Island to dock the frigates. In addition to ongoing reclamation, Vietnam has begun constructing related buildings and facilities, entering a stage of simultaneous expansion and construction. In terms of harbor and dock construction, prior to 2021, Vietnam had harbors only at Spratly Island, Southwest Cay, Sin Cowe Island and West Reef. Among the 11 occupied features undergoing expansion in this round, harbors have been built or are under construction on 8 features: Namyit Island, Sin Cowe, Pearson Reef, Tennent Reef, Barque Canada Reef, Reef, South Reef and Central Reef. In terms of runway and airfield construction, before 2021, among Vietnam-occupied features in the Spratly Islands, only Spratly Island had a runway of approximately 1,200 meters, which was insufficient for large military aircraft. Barque Canada Reef holds the largest reef flat among all Spratly features. Vietnam has expanded a sandbar about 4,300 meters long on the northwest side and built an airstrip. As of May 2025, the runway has taken shape and is about 3,200 meters long. Apart from Barque Canada Reef, Vietnam has extended sandbars with sufficient length for runways at Reef, Pearson Reef, Tennent Reef and South Reef. Upon completion, Vietnam may possess 5 to 6 runways in the Spratly Islands, giving it with a geographic advantage over other claimants including China. The development of harbors and the expansion of airports and landmass are of great significance for Vietnam's occupation and actions in the Spratly Islands. Though Vietnam has tried to trumpet that the islands and reefs of the Spratly Islands held by it are for civilian uses, they actually have a strong military dimension. A great number of personnel and equipment from the Vietnamese troops and paramilitary forces have been setting up defenses defenses and operating on these islands and reefs. In terms of fortifications, Vietnam constructs fortress-style, blanket defensive positions by combining field and permanent fortifications, setting up both ground battlefields and underground bunkers, and building both combat and living facilities, which are supported by reef forts, so as to form a system of key-point defense on 10 features of the Spratly Islands. Vietnam has deployed plenty of troops and weapons to these features. Even a VRSCSX X-band medium-range coastal warning radar system, which is developed by Viettel and capable of detecting targets at a distance of up to 170 kilometers, has been installed on these features. In addition, temporary helipads have been added to Tennent Reef, Discovery Great Reef, Lad Reef and South Reef. Additionally, new berms have been built on Barque Canada Reef, Central Reef, Tennent Reef, Namyit Island and South Reef. It is anticipated that anti-ship artillery or missile platforms could be deployed in these areas. Currently, there are no signs that Vietnam will stop land reclamation on the occupied features. Vietnam may ultimately aim to surpass other claimants, including China, in terms of reclaimed land area in the Spratly Islands. Evidence suggests that Vietnam is attempting to connect its occupied features into a cohesive network, forming a complete operational system to enhance its military presence and deterrence capabilities in the South China Sea. This round of expansion has set new records in terms of scale, technology, and speed, triggering widespread international concern. Although, for over a decade, Western countries, including the US, have primarily focused their South China Sea narratives on China due to great power competition, ideological biases and sympathy for the underdog, while deliberately downplaying or ignoring the aggressive actions of Vietnam and the Philippines. This time, Western think tanks and media outlets, such as AMTI, Reuters and Radio Free Asia, have begun criticizing Vietnam's island-building activities. Vietnam's expansion and militarization of Spratly features have become a significant event impacting peace and stability in the South China Sea and the development of regional rules and orders.